how much of our reality do we really control? Okay, I want to share something with y'all that happened to me and that's been happening recently. Pretty cool, but like I always knew that the reality we experience is a projection of what's in here. Okay, it's one thing to talk about it, it's another thing to live it and to be consciously aware of it while it's happening in a very plastic way, like you can participate in what reality you want to experience. This is very, all right, let me just get into the example. In Michigan, transitioning from winter to spring, spring to summer, you're going to have some abnormally cold days. Like randomly, it'll just be like 40 degrees in May. Why? Okay, like Michigan weather is bipolar. We know this. And in order to get to my garage, I have to go outside. So into my backyard from my breezeway into my garage. It's a small little walk, but who feels like going out in the cold, right? And I might have a bad habit of leaving certain things in my car. It could be my wallet, it could be my charger, it could be whatever the case, but I would dread having to put on clothes just to go outside to grab something small. But then I was watching Wim Hof, who is one of my like favorite breathwork and wellness experts out there. He's called the Iceman because of his ability to control his body temperature while submerged in like freezing waters. His story is very cool, how he got his start, and climbing Mount Kilimanjaro in nothing but like swim trunks and still being okay, like claiming to Western medicine that, yeah, y'all can infect me with an infection and I'm not gonna get sick because I have a special breathing technique that can control my heart rate, body temperature, and whatever infection y'all gonna put in me ain't gonna work. They said bet. They gave him the infection in a controlled environment, had a control group that also had the infection to make sure that it worked. Wim Hof was able to regulate his body temperature. They had nodes hooked up to see what was all going on. Didn't touch him. For everybody else, they got sick. So they knew he's serious, okay? But he works with people and shows them how to do the breathing technique to regulate their body temperature and their mental while they are in frigid temperatures, right? And so he had this thing that he would say, like, I go to the cold. The cold does not come to me. so whenever I wanted to go outside and I knew it was chilly, I would be joking around with my wife, and I'd be like, she'd be like, "You're not gonna put a jacket on? You're not gonna?" Cause who wanna do all that? And I say, I go to the cold. The cold does not go to me. And I kind of puff my chest out and like embody the energy of Wim Hof joking, right? And so naturally, I go outside, I grab what I need from the car, and then I come back. So then for like anything, when it was chilly outside or cold outside that I needed to go get from my car or get it from my wife from her car, whatever the case, going to the garage, going outside, facing the cold, I would say this statement still in a joking fashion, but nevertheless, I would be like, saying it and projecting it out loud right before I go to the cold, kind of like a ritual, if you will. And y'all know, I look up and I realize that I didn't even have the same emotional angst and resistance after like a week or so of having to run out to the car. Like in any given week, I could be running back and forth out to the car 30, 40 times or to the garage for any reason, right? So think about all that micro programming that has taken place, before I embodied just a simple statement. The whole reason why I didn't want to go to the cold and I was emotionally dysregulated by that is because of the sensation that I didn't want to experience. And the way that I processed that emotion gave a lot of resistance for me to get to what I was trying to get to out there, something that I felt was important enough for me to have to go out there. But now I'm having a bargain with myself on whether or not I will go get said thing. This is me choosing what reality I want to experience. So when I simply started embodying, I go to the cold, and me being the master of it, and it rewired my brain to where I'm no longer thinking about the emotions I have to go through. I realize I'm sufficient. I'm going to the cold. It ain't coming to me. And I didn't even have to fully grasp that concept in order for my mind and my body to follow what I programmed it to do. And I wasn't even conscious of the fact that I was reprogramming my brain. And so, even though I already knew that reality is plastic and like we are participants in our world where we can choose what reality we want to experience, like whether I choose to drink tea or water this morning. It's just not a matter of, which one do I want. I'm literally choosing what reality I want to experience. But you have to be conscious, because if you're unconsciously making decisions and you're not thinking from a place of participation and that you are living the reality you put out there, then you are unconscious and you are not aware, and therefore you're easily able to be manipulated by things unseen. And you can't tell the difference between what the resistance is within inside of you and things you have been taught and told by other people. It could be very hard to tell the difference. Think about beliefs that you have that are pillars in your life that came from somebody else, whether it was from your childhood, whether it's something that, you heard at a religious affiliation. Not saying it's right or wrong, but just talking about something that can deeply be embedded in your psyche, informing your reality, informing your perception of a said thing, but you haven't been consciously aware enough to see if that's something that you actually resonate with, agree with, or that you can participate in to shape your reality. I hope this is making sense. So all I'm trying to say is your brain is a big computer. You are more powerful than you think. And one of the quotes that changed the way I thought about things when I was very young, and it has just allowed me to unfold gradually over time about perception, is we don't see the world as it is. We see the world as we are.